Hello, I'm Martin Weiss. Thank you for joining me. I'm coming to you today with a very important and somewhat unusual message. As you know, my colleagues and I have been discussing the great super cycle that we see unfolding in 2018 and beyond. We expect this super cycle to be dramatic and in some cases unsettling. We expect it to change the face of global politics and economics. And we expect it to create unprecedented profit opportunities in the year ahead. In fact, we already see the first wave of these opportunities unfolding in natural resources. Tremendous amounts of money are beginning to flow into the resource sector, and commodities like oil, copper, and gold have already hit multi-year highs just in the past few weeks. All signs indicate the fuse has been lit on the next global resource boom. So next week, Thursday, January 25th, my colleagues Matt Badiali and Jeff Yasteen will hold a special event called the Frontline Profits Summit. They will be revealing Matt's proprietary strategy to zero in on the stocks poised to soar 1,000% or more as this supercycle gathers steam. I've asked Matt to join me here today to give us a closer look, to tell us about the driving forces behind this burgeoning resource market, how high he believes it will go, and just how much profit you could have a chance to make. Matt, thank you for taking the time to join me in this conversation today. I know you're quite busy preparing for your upcoming summit.
Thanks for inviting me, Martin. It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, we've talked about the rising cycles of war and debt. We've talked about the tsunami of money that's rushing from trouble spots overseas into resources. Now, however, in addition to those factors, you're seeing a whole new set of powerful forces that are driving resources higher right now.
That's absolutely right, yeah.
And I'm anxious to talk about that, but before I do, may I take a moment to sing your praises?
Sure.
Okay. You've been involved in the resource industry for 20 years.
That's right.
You've shared the stage with legends such as oil man T. Boone Pickens and Goldcorp President David Garofalo. Your field research has taken you to resource epicenters around the world, discovery sites in jungles of Papua New Guinea, mining projects in Ireland, deal rooms in Zurich, Switzerland.
That's true.
Okay, now here's my first question. Drawing on all your ground level experience, what type of cycle do you see unfolding within the resource sector over the next few months?
Oh, I have to tell you, Martin, I've spoken with dozens and dozens of industry insiders in the past 24 months. I was down at the South American Mining Conference in Peru, at the renowned Sprott Natural Resource Conference in Vancouver.
In Vancouver, right?
Yeah, that's right. And as you mentioned, I've been to a lot of project sites around the world. In every case, the level of excitement, the growth, and the planned project investment is unlike anything I've seen in more than a decade.
A decade?
So to understand why this is going on and where we're going in 2018, you have to understand that the commodity market is, as you said, cyclical, right?
Yep.
If people can understand these cycles, they can make a lot of money. And if they don't, they could lose a fortune.
So show me what cycles you're referring to right now.
Okay. About every 15 years or so, the commodity market will spend 10 years rising from bottom to top, and then about 5 years going back to the bottom. And when you think about it, it's not all that complicated as to why. So let me show you. Let's take a look at this chart.
Okay.
So this is the CRB index. It's made up of 39% energy, 34% agriculture, and 20% metals, and 7% livestock.
So basically it's a representation of all major commodities.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
So you can see that over the past 17 years, the entire commodity group went through one complete cycle from top to bottom and then back again. In general, these cycles happen because supply and demand get out of balance. Sometimes demand for a commodity like oil or copper or gold will go up, and if the supply doesn't keep up with demand, the price goes up.
The price goes up with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then as the price goes up, companies start to produce more of that commodity so they can make more money.
That makes sense. But with commodities, it seems that it often takes years to get some of these businesses going. And you can't just start a copper mine or drill a bunch of new oil wells on a whim.
Exactly. And so by the time all these businesses ramp up production in the commodity, the supply outpaces demand and then prices tank.
Right. And that's when all these businesses start to fall apart.
Right. And then supply drops, causing prices to shoot up, and the entire cycle starts all over again.
So where are we at in the commodity cycle at this stage?
Well, for most commodities, we're entering a phase where supply is far behind demand. Let's look at that CRB chart again.
Okay, here it is.
So from 2002 to 2008, the CRB soared from 200 points to 470 points. So that was a really strong 6-year bull market.
I remember that.
But it got interrupted, right, by the financial crisis of 2008.
I remember that too.
and it crashed in 2009, but it recovered really quickly. So ultimately, it was a 10-year bull market. That, unfortunately, came to an end in 2011. Companies borrowed too much money. They weren't prepared for falling prices. And so from 2011 to early 2016, it was a really ugly bear market.
I remember that.
Things have started turning around about 2 years ago, though.
So despite all of the volatility, though, if you look at the chart, the CRB index is basically flat since 2002.
Exactly. So in 2016, the CRB index hit a low of 155 points, and 2017 it leveled off to about 195 points. So I believe that this is the start of a new 8 to 10-year bull market in commodities. And that puts us in an incredibly opportunistic point in time. We're past the bottom, we're on the way up, and we're positioned to see massive gains. I think the next 8 years will be similar to the commodity boom that lasted from 2002 to 2009. That was a great time for anyone in the commodity sector. And this cycle is poised to be even stronger.
But let me ask you this. So what kind of investments will you be looking at specifically to take advantage of that boom?
Sure. A lot of junior mining companies. So consider this. The last time we were in a profit window like this, there were a ton of opportunities to make triple-digit profits, and in many of the instances, gains of over 1,000%.
Can you give us some examples
Sure.
of that? Okay.
Take a look at these stocks.
Okay.
All right, let's take Southern Copper, for example. So Southern Copper went up 2,500% over that period.
And so if you started with $1,000, you would wind up with
$25,000.
$25,000.
That's all right.
Yep.
It gets better.
Okay.
Range Resources went up 2,800%.
Which would take $1,000 and give you $28,000 in profit.
$28,000.
Yeah.
Olympic Steel went up 2,700%.
$27,000.
$27,000.
Wow. That money starts adding up.
It does. You know, this is life-changing kind of money. Contango Oil and Gas, 3,900%.
It's unbelievable. And what's this other one? Cleveland Cliffs. It's getting even better.
6,300% over that period.
So throw in another $63,000.
$1,000 could turn into $63,000.
63 times your money.
That's unbelievable.
Yes.
Beardco, 6,500%.
Wow. That's mind-boggling.
The best on this group is Ramco. It went up 9,000%.
So you start with $1,000, and then you wind up with almost $100,000.
Almost $100,000. $90,000. I mean, tell me that's not a life-changing investment.
Suppose you started with $10,000. Then it starts really getting big numbers. Is that it?
No, there are lots of these. So just to give you two more examples.
Okay.
So Southwestern Energy, 4,000%, $40,000. White Mountain Titanium Corp went up 5,000%.
Which is 50 times your money.
It's life-changing. Martin, right now, we have the same exact opportunity in front of us. Many of these resources are on the move. Most of them are outpacing the gains of the stock market.
And most investors don't know that.
Strangely, yes. But the trend's going to strengthen, and it should become even more obvious this year. Take a look at this chart.
Okay.
In 2017, copper rose 30%, lead rose 24%, and zinc prices rose 30% respectively.
And what about in just the last few days?
Zinc prices hit a 10-year high.
Wow. So while Wall Street is cheering the Dow at 25,000, the gains that can be made in those resources have been even more lucrative.
So much more. That's great.
And and what really grabs me, though, is something else. The bull market in stocks has been going on virtually nonstop for how long?
That's right,
Almost
9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
And the bull market in these resources is just now starting to rev up.
It's just getting started. And with the right resources and the right stocks, the gains can be life-changing. The last time an upward cycle took hold in the resource markets, my team and I did quite well. I personally, and I don't mean to brag, but I personally made more than 44 times my money in less than 24 months on one trade.
You have the right to brag about that. And what about folks who attend your Frontline Profit Summit on Thursday? can they expect the chance to make gains like these as well going forward?
Those kind of gains are the exact reason Jeff and I are holding the event. During this 1-hour webinar, I'm going to show people the very strategy I used to hone in these profits, and I'm going to show them how they can follow me into some of these life-changing trades over the next few months.
You know, I know that no one can predict the future with precision or guarantee results, but I also know this. It's very rare to be able to see a big trend like this so clearly. And what's even more rare is to see it in its early stages like we can do right now.
I couldn't agree more. In fact, I'm going to guarantee that anyone who follows my new strategy will have the opportunity to turn every $10,000 into $100,000 in the next 12 months.
That's one heck of a bold statement, Matt. Can you clarify?
Sure. By following my frontline profit strategy, you'll have the opportunity to turn every $10,000 you invest into $100,000 in the next year. I'll be going into more detail on that during the webinar presentation on January 25th.
I can't wait to see what you have to show us. And in the meantime, this weekend, I'm going to think about it, and I'm going to come up with some more questions for you.
I'm happy to answer them,
thank
whatever you have.
And then next week, can we meet again a couple of times to talk about this as we get closer to your big event, the
Sure.
Frontline Profit Summit?
I've got you down for Monday and Wednesday. Can we confirm that?
Sure. Monday and Wednesday of next week, same time, right here in this studio, so our subscribers can also join.
Sounds great. I've got you on the calendar, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Matt. I'm really very much looking forward to Matt's Frontline Profit Summit, and I presume you are too. Matt has spent the past 5 years honing and perfecting his Frontline Profits strategy. And as you have just heard, he has personally used it to capture gains as big as 4,400%. So on Thursday, January 25th, he will show you exactly how he did it and how you could do it too. The event will begin promptly at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So about 10 minutes before the hour on January 25th, all you have to do is head over to www.frontlineprofitslive.com. Frontlineprofitslive.com. Don't miss it. The profit opportunity and the timing couldn't be better. Good luck and God bless.